What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Nick Bartel, editor-in-chief for Techno Warriors TV, and it's time for another spooky paranormal interview. I'm the editor-in-chief for Techno Warriors TV. My name is Nick Bartel, and welcome to Techno Warriors TV, and welcome to the haunting of Les Durrant?
Durrant.
Durrant?
Yes.
Les
Yes.
Durrant. He
Yes.
has had numerous hauntings. He's had encounters with ghosts. He's a ghost hunter, and
Yes.
he's also the owner of Objects and Orbs,
Yes.
and he is a what he does paranormal stuff, UFO stuff, and so you're gonna see another interview of him, and it's gonna be the UFO sightings of Les Durrance,
Yes.
and that's gonna be an awesome video. So stay tuned for that one.
All right.
And so, ladies and gentlemen, we got some chock full stuff because he has set all his stuff up for the ghost stuff. And so you during this interview, you actually might see some paranormal stuff. So isn't that really,
Yes.
really cool? So
Yes.
tell us about some of your experiences you've had, your encounters and hauntings.
Yeah, so it basically started off. I was working at a radio station in Lubbock, Texas, and I had recently lost my wife at 23 years. She was from Tooele, Utah, and we were married for 23 years. And I kept seeing these shadow figures at the station. I was just by myself, and they were kind of freaking me out because they would go by the door, and they would almost bug me, and it just made me kind of think of the way she was, if that makes sense. You just like, okay, that kind of seems like it could be her. Well, then I kind of prayed to meet somebody new, and I met my wife now, Claudette, who we knew when we were kids on the island of Guam, and that's a whole another story right there, but she's from Idaho. And she said, I told her what was going on, and I said that I was having these shadow figures. And so she said, oh, well, I was a ghost hunter up in Idaho. And I said, well, how'd you do that? And she said, you just put your phone on audio and you just record it. And then you get these EVPs and their electronic voice phenomenon. And you go back and you're able to hear stuff. Well, nowadays you can hear the spirits come through these devices. And what they'll do is they'll pick out their words. And I use a program called Spirit Talker. It's just a couple bucks on both of the App Store and Google Play. There's also something called Spirit Music Box, and this is our new thing that they have. And I am a big fan of this paranormal team called Twin Paranormal. These guys are on YouTube. They're just as good as some of the bigger ones that you see on network TV. And at first, they kind of play around a little bit, but when it comes time to do business, they get down and they introduce themselves, and so you'll hear me, introduce myself. Hey, my name is Les. I know that you're here. And, thank you for using my equipment. So this equipment is all cell phones that would have been thrown away otherwise. And so I use these for paranormal and for UFO hunting. So I have them all set up, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to turn them on. Now, before I turn them on, I'm going to tell you that we live in North Georgia on top of this mountain. It's about 1,900 feet up, and about a mile away is a stone circle, a Native American stone circle from the Cherokees. And this is where they started the Trail of Tears whenever they migrated the Native Americans from Georgia and up into Oklahoma and even into Utah and all of that as well. So the people that were living up on this mountain were settlers. And so you'll hear something sometimes they'll say the settlement, or you'll hear we fought here, or you'll hear, a lot of different things. And so you're going to hear that. And then we have two ghosts that live with us. One is Gary. His name is Gary Williams, and I had promised that I was going to tell you the story during the interview, so I'm going to do that for you right now. we used to get this name Gary on the Spirit Talker, and somebody said, "Oh, Gary's a poltergeist." And we're like, "Okay, so what's that all about?" So we said, "Well, hey, Gary, can you ring the chimes for us?" And sure enough, he did. Well, fast forward to July 11th, and that's our anniversary. So we were going to go down to Helen, Georgia, which is a little town that's kind of a German town. And my wife said, "Yeah, let me grab my debit cards." Well, she went to go for her debit cards and they were not there. And like, okay, all right. So we went to Walmart looking for him, didn't find him. We went to the radio station, didn't find him. So she was kind of freaking out. Well, I said, honey, how about if you just transfer your money to my debit card and we'll just use that. So I went to go look for my debit card and it was not in my wallet. Like, okay, great. So she's like, hon, we need to get out Spirit Talker and speak with the spirit. So we did, and the spirit at first said stress. We're like, yeah, and then it said money. I'm like, yeah, definitely, we're stressing about the money. Then we said, what's your name? And it said Williams. I'm like, all right. And then I said, what's your first name? And it said Gary. All right. So we heard Gary, that name before, Gary Williams. So then, and then it said died very recently. Like, all right, cool. And then we said, well, Gary, we're having a hard time finding our debit cards. And then it said right. So she looked right. And sure enough, in a big old stack of towels was, guess what? Those debit cards. And yeah, and they were in there. And I never did find mine. Now, he did say that he died very recently, and it said can't breathe. And we're wondering, why can't it breathe? Well, I decided to look up his obituary, and he is from this little town in Mineral Bluff. I mean, it's a little teeny tiny town. It's about 1,000 people. And he died in this town literally back in May of 2022, so died very recently. And the fact that he's from this little town, and literally from where we're at, we pretty much know that that's who that is. So I may, in a moment, say, hey, Gary, are you with us? And the machine may go off. And then also another person by the name of Jeff, who we recently discovered is with us as well. So I might even say, hey, Jeff, are you with us? And if the music box goes off, you'll know that that's him. Okay, so now you've kind of got a story of what all these things might say. I'm going to turn them on real quick, and we're just going to go from here. So I'm going to turn on the spirit talkers, and we may actually get some activity. So I'm going to hit start, 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 start. And then now I'm going to hit the spirit music box. I'm going to sit down. Now, the way that this works is it works off of vibrations and proximity. Okay, it's going to calibrate now.
Okay.
Anything that makes it go off is not me. Can you turn that off for me now? Thank you. Okay, so it's just like that. Thank you. Remember I told you they like to play a little bit. Jeff, is that you? Thank you. Okay, so that was Jeff. Thank you, Jeff. Is there anybody here who would like to say hello? What is your name? No, Jeff, I'm going to have to turn that off. Thank you. Y'all can use this equipment to pick out your words. So you'll notice it's kind of quiet right now. Oh, what did it just say? Oh, cross. Okay. So what we'll do is we kind of tailor the... See, he's playing with me now.
He's trolling you.
You are nice.
What did it just said you are nice. Thank you.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, this one just said you are nice.
So, guys, ladies and gentlemen, we're actually getting live paranormal activity of these ghosts, which is
That
really
just
awesome.
said, this one says phone. Yes, that's a phone. Okay, now that one's kind of annoying. I'm going to have to turn you off there, Jeff. Thank you. Okay, these will get... Oh, Charles. Hello, Charles. Charles is with us. So, hello, Charles. So I asked people, because people tell me, oh, those apps are loaded. I'm like, no, they're not. They're not loaded.
Because some of them can be bogus.
Thomas. Who's Thomas? Oh, nice to meet you, Thomas. Some of them you have to pay for. Oh, shit. That's a frustration. Well, it's okay. Just keep using, do your best. That's fine. Music. That one just said music. And of course, it's right next to the music box. Of
Yeah.
course, that makes sense. All right, well, good. Um, yeah, so once they start talking to you, they don't stop. They'll continue to talk to you. Now,
Agree.
that just said agree. They just said agree. Okay, thank you. And that one said a lot.
So it's like they're talking to each other.
Yeah, that's freaking awesome.
So can you tell me about some of the other experiences that you've had?
Yeah. I may have to turn this off because they may try to butt in. Yeah. So um, we've also done paranormal investigations as well, where we will take this same type of equipment and we'll go to somebody's house. And there was a time where I didn't have as many spirit talkers out.
Evidence.
Evidence. I just said evidence. Yeah, right. Exactly. Thank you. Okay.
So we're getting actual activity here on this interview, so which is really awesome. So we're getting
Oh, thank you.
actual ghost activity.
Yeah.
Now, is there any spirits? Is there? Am I talking to anyone right now?
No, you're just talking to me because I don't have you on the speaker. But yeah,
Okay.
you could, and they would talk to you. But the thing that the main demonstration of this is that this is all equipment that would have been thrown away. You know, people have these old cell phones and everything, but they don't realize that they still work with Wi-Fi. So you can download your apps to them, and even if you purchase an app, you can use that on multiple devices. Um, so we took these. We also took this is called a tri-field meter made in Utah. This is every single penny, worth every single penny. It's $180.
Okay.
I'm not selling it, but it's worth every penny. It is for radio frequency RF, and it also has EMF too. So,
Oh, it's an
like,
EMF reader.
oh yeah, watch this. You want to see something creepy? Okay,
Yeah.
that's a 2 right now. Okay.
Okay.
Now watch this. Oh, it's going up. Do you hear it?
Yeah.
It's going nuts. Why? That's what I want to know. Why?
There could be a ghost there.
But and it's like this. It stays like this. So that could very well be a portal. But if you can imagine EMF and you're standing in that, see, that's like almost not good. And see, it goes lower even around those, but it gets higher over here. Yeah. So
So tell me about like, have you ever had like any demonic entities? Have you ever had to deal with like spooky, scary type of ghosts? Tell
yes,
me a
I
little
had.
about that.
Yes. So I had one that actually turned off. I would share my screen, but maybe I don't want it to get jumpy or not. But I've got a video of an orb even on my YouTube channel that shuts off the tri-field meter. Now the tri-field meter, like I said, it doesn't come cheap and it's not used just for ghost hunting. But I've got an orb, and people think orbs are dust, that actually comes up and shuts it off. And
Whoa!
yeah, and the story about that is that I was told that there was an entity in this back room of this client's house that they didn't want back there. It shouldn't have been back there. So we set up all of our stuff, and as soon as it turned off my meter, I commanded it to leave. And sure enough, it did finally leave after kind of yelling at it a little bit. And I actually have a video of it and a picture of the entity itself. That's kind of crazy. Yeah.
So,
Um,
what else did you have? Whatever experiences have you had with demons and that kind of stuff?
really, that was the only one that that really, it wasn't scary, but it was somebody who wasn't supposed to be there. And so with that, we just commanded it to leave. And you have to be strong whenever you go into these investigations. You have to have a strong mind whenever you do that. And so, because if not, they can attach to you, and you don't want that to happen either. Because that
Have
can
you ever have you ever been a witness to demonic possession? Or have you
no.
seen demonic possession?
No, no. I do believe in it, yes, but I've never actually seen it. Now, well, you know, I'm going to change my mind. Sorry, I'm going to change my mind because I just thought of an investigation of this couple. And anyway, so they were younger than me, and they were having problems. So she came up to me at work and was saying that she said, "Can paranormal mess uh, with your relationships?" And I say, "Yeah, definitely," because I'd kind of been through that before. And so she said, we asked her, we said, "Hey, can we do an investigation at your house?" And we went over there, and sure enough, we started getting these crazy orbs that came up, and also these on the spirit talker was going nuts. It was saying, "Get out," and it was just really crazy.
Like, what would
Um,
it tell you guys? What was it?
it would say, "Get out of the house." It would just say, "Get out of the house," and we'd be like, "No, this is where they live at. We know you're here, but they don't want you to be here, and you can find another place to go." And that's so. But we pretty much said no. That now we did tell the people that were living there. We said, "Here's what you got to do: is you got to open up the windows and you got to let some sunlight in, because it was all dark." And so all the orbs were just bouncing around in there. But when you give them light, then that's when they come out. Yeah.
So that's mainly the only crazy, spooky experiences you've had. What other paranormal experiences that you've had?
Yeah. So we first started off at this place. It's called the Chastain House. And it was really our first big investigation. We came down here to Georgia, and it was in April of 2021, and we came down here to visit my parents. And so we went out there, and it was kind of a known haunted house. It wasn't like your Halloween haunted house. This is one that supposedly had spirits in it, where these spirits were younger, and they didn't know they were dead, so they were playful. And I was even telling my cousin about this too, because he's just been enlightened. He just had his first paranormal experience. And I said, "Well, I'm not going to take you into a really scary place, but this place would be a good starter house to do an investigation in, because the kids are very playful. They don't know they're dead." So the thing is that we got these orbs that were jumping in to the caretaker's phone, and they were messing it up.
So
And
they took actually possessed a phone.
yes, they did. Yeah. And so if you go to my YouTube channel, you'll see Chastain House, Blue Ridge, Georgia, and that's the exact investigation that I'm talking about. And you'll see. And he had lived there for literally 13 years. He's just a caretaker, but this other guy owns it. And so every time the orbs would go into his phone, his notification would go off. So he'd go doo 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 doo, and he's like, "Man," he's like, "I'm trying to turn this thing off, trying to turn my phone off." And you could see him actually jump over each other and go into it, and even go around the ball and everything. It's really cool. But the main thing that I always tell people is just be very respectful whenever you're talking with the spirits. Just be respectful to them. Let them know that they're there. Try not to don't instigate them. Don't tell them to come out. You've probably heard about this kind of stuff too. You just don't really want to mess with them at all.
Because, like, you see all these ghost hunter shows, like
Right.
Ghost Adventures,
Yes.
Ghost Hunters, where it's like, they'll try to, it's an awesome show, but it's like sometimes they try to provoke the spirits.
That's why these guys are so much better, because they don't do that. They'll go out there and they're very casual with them. And hey, I would be like, "Hey, thanks for using my equipment. I really appreciate that." And this is how you do it. Sometimes they'll be like, it'll say frustrated, and I'll show them, say, "Well, this is how you do it. You just go in front of it," and then they can. And you saw how easy it is, and they like playing with that music box. I mean, that's
Yeah, so, like, ladies and gentlemen, this is actually one of the very first interviews that we've actual paranormal activity. Now, it
Oh
wasn't
yeah,
like crazy, spooky, poop your pants kind of stuff, but it
right.
was actually a little, it was actually just, them
Every
playing
day.
around with the equipment.
Right, right. And that's the way we do it, down here, especially in Georgia. We don't mess around. We just kind of hang out, and now I'm from Texas, so we say y'all, but down here they say you'uns. So you'uns are doing okay, and they'll do their thing, and they'll come out and they'll say hi, and but anybody can do it. But I tell people, don't be afraid of it, because sometimes you'll get words like Satan or witchcraft or you know
Oh,
right, right. But you got to think. You got to think. If this was back in the 1800s, what would you think these things were?
uh-huh.
Say Satan or witchcraft. So you have to say that. This is 2023. This stuff has been invented so we can talk to you, and then it's better from there. Then like okay, and then you heard it say, we like talking to you, or you're friendly, or that kind of
So was the
stuff. And
ghost actually communicating with me?
no, they didn't hear you.
Okay, okay.
That's because you had told me to take off the speaker. But yeah, if they heard you, now I have had hosts ask and tell them to say stuff, and they have. And then I've got a friend of mine over in Algeria who's Muslim, and he tells me about they call him jinn over there. And so I told him, I said, can you tell it in Arabic to shut up or to stop? And boom, boom, shut right up. And I'm like, all right, that's awesome. So that opens up a whole new world and things. But what I see this face where people are like, hmm, and so that's why I like to provide my evidence and not really say, oh, it's this or that. I'll just kind of tell you, I'll just provide you the evidence. And there was a lady who even cried one time when I showed her some of my stuff, because she said, man, she said, it really is real. And I said, yes, ma'am, it is. And she said, man, your stuff is the best. And I'm like, all right, well, thank you so much. I mean, that was a perfect compliment to me. And really, that if I'm able to teach people how to do it, even, if I could teach you how to do it, say, hey, get your old phone and load Spirit Talker on there, you can do the same thing, and you're gonna get different sayings that come out to you. And the thing is they will be in context with what you ask them.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, I've got just so much more, and I do UFO stuff too, and that, like I said, that's a whole nother show. But yeah, so I just the thing is if you don't understand about it, I tell people this: just pray about it, or just ponder it. Okay, whether you have a belief system or not, whatever you do, that's fine. That is not for me to judge. But if it's something you don't understand, then find evidence, or just wonder about it. And you've heard about this weather balloon thing going over today. Everybody's heard about that. So the thing is my thing is I want everybody to look up to the sky for at least 30 seconds a day. If everybody did it, we probably wouldn't even be having this conversation, because we would already know about UFOs. We'd already know about ghosts, all of that, because it's already out there, you know.
Well, do you have anything? Oh, do you have anything else to talk about, or any other experiences you want to share?
Well, I've got a lot more, but we might have to do that on a whole another show, because I've got my whole UFO side, and then I will leave you with this. Um, I do talk to quite a few abductees, and I think maybe you have too. But they mention numerology, and so this year is 2023. So if you add all those up, it adds up to the number seven. Well, seven is a holy number. And so if you think July 7th, 2023, that's 777. And then at 7:07 and 7 seconds AM, 7:07 and 7 seconds PM, there's all those sevens. So I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying that all those numbers are going to be sevens. And it's a holy number. So
So I'm gonna interrupt you right there because I think something just tried taking off the camera on
oh,
your
okay.
side.
Uh-oh, that's weird.
That's pretty
But
cool,
that,
ladies and gentlemen. We are getting activity in this interview, which is
yes,
extremely rare. Let's freaking go.
yes,
So, get ready for part 2 of the
you got
paranormal
it.
experiences of Les. What's your last name again?
Durrant.
Durant.
Yeah, Durrant. Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
so it'll be the paranormal experiences of Les Durant,
Mm-hmm.
part 2. So this will be part 1 because
All
there's
right.
he is so much more to talk about. But get ready for the UFO sightings of Les Durant.
Yeah, Durrant.
Um,
Durrant. Mm-hmm.
it is going to be absolutely amazing. He has a ton of UFO sightings. So make sure you like this video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel because it's coming soon. And
Yes.
ladies and gentlemen, if you like this video, you know what to do. You hit that like button if you like this. You hit that like button if you like this video. You hit that dislike button if you did not like this video. And if you do it, all you have to do is strangle that subscribe button, slap across the face, and pow, right in the kisser. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and have a great day. And